I'm talking ain't nobody better than me. I write my life with a Klonopin. Try to build a sail so I can charter it. My destiny is prominent. The rest of me is common sense, which is why my soul is ominous. See, I don't need your promises. I guess I'll admit I evolved a bit from your politics. The politics, I acknowledged it. Common shit, just a poisonous flow like water moccasins.
What is going on, everybody? Thanks again for tuning in. If you could just like the video, that way YouTube stops ignoring me and puts me somewhere in the front page when somebody searches for something web development related. I think as of right now, from the last time I checked, I think I was on page 72 when you type in coding or coding bootcamp or something like that. I kept checking. Okay, so I'm kidding about that. I didn't really check. I ain't got time for that. But if you could just like the video, you ain't even got to subscribe. I mean, you could just come back later. Maybe put me in on your bookmark in your browser or something like that, just to come back later and subscribe. That'd be great. But for today's episode, I actually wanted to cover why I chose Lambda School over other schools like General Assembly, Hack Reactor, Full Stack Academy, and all these other schools. So what differentiates Lambda that made it so important that I wanted to back out of GA and not even look at the other schools? So with that said, I'm going to share my screen over here, and we're going to take a look at Lambda's facts page, which is right over here. And so with that, I already got it highlighted. The income share agreement is the first thing that I wanted to cover. So income share agreement pretty much says that Lambda is going to invest in you as a student, and they think that you're somebody that can succeed. So with that said, it's a double-edged sword. You have to be somebody that shows them that you not only have put in some time on your own to learn, you know, the basics, but that you're also somebody who strives to really want to do this. So otherwise, they're not going to make any money, because their income share agreement is pretty much once you graduate, you don't pay them anything until you get a job making $50,000 or more in the field that they trained you in. So if you graduate from Lambda and you decide, hey, I want to be president or a rocket scientist or Amelia Earhart or, you know, whatever other job, you know, and you're making over $50,000, you don't have to pay them, because that is not the field that they trained you in. With that said, I believe they have up to 5 years where they have you on the income share agreement, which means that, let's say you take a job making $49,999, just so that you don't have to pay them back. You have like 5 years where you're living with $49,999 as your salary, which I think is the dumbest thing I've ever heard before for anybody to do, when you could easily pay them back when you're at your lowest point income-wise, pay them back within the first 2 years and then take a promotion or a pay raise or whatever and just make more money. But to each their own. If somebody tries to do that, they'll just be completely just stupid. So with that said, Lambda is also working on a few experimental programs on being able to make it even more affordable for people to attend their schools. So they have a few experiments in the background. I think one of them is like a shared living agreement. You get yourself to where they are. I think they're in Silicon Valley. But you get yourself over there, whether it's a plane ticket or Greyhound or whatever, and they put you in a shared housing. Now, I don't know whether this experiment is still going on or if it even started, but I know that's something they've been tossing around. They've also had another experiment they're tossing around where you pretty much tell them that why you'd be a good candidate for this other experiment, and they basically add in like $1,000 to your tuition. So they give you $1,000 for every month that you're in Lambda, and then they pretty much raise the income share agreement. This is as of right now, so this is subject to change. I don't know how far along they are in this experiment, but they raised it to like I think 3 years of 17% of your paycheck or something like that. And the way they know what you're making is off of your tax return. But I see a lot of people constantly ask that, you know, because you could easily tell them that you're making $49,000, you know, but really be making like 80 grand. And on top of that, they only cap off your max payment at, I believe, $30,000. And so if you're making $30,000, if you pay off $30,000, then that's it, you're done. However, if you take part in this experiment, I believe that it goes up to $51,000 or something like that, and that's just the cap. So if you don't hit that, then you don't hit it. That's just Lambda saying that at no point will you ever have to pay them any more than that. So it's not like college where they're like, you know, hey, we don't mind, you know, making you pay us 80 grand, or the loan company making you pay us 80 grand for these classes. So, and I think that's very important. You know, you can pretty much save up some money for whatever your bills are, and go through the school with a peace of mind, knowing that you don't have to pay for your classes while you're taking them, or after, at least until you find a job. So that's pretty important. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the curriculum. Am I saying that right? Curriculum? But anyway, that's the next thing we're going to be taking at. So this is for the full stack development, 6 months of full-time intensive computer science and software engineering training. So that's a big difference between Lambda and a lot of other schools. A lot of other schools, if they do teach any computer science at all, it's very, very, very short. And the reason that's important is because a lot of employers are looking for people who have computer science experience. And so the whole thing about college is you're going through a computer science degree program. You're not doing much programming, you know, there, but you're doing more computer science-y things. And so with Lambda, not only do they put it up here in the title, but if you look down over here, first section they have is the full stack web development, which I believe is about 3 to 4 months worth. And then you have an entire section just for computer science. So you have intro to Python, object-oriented programming, data structure and algorithms, computer architecture, intro to C and operating systems, process systems, call and scheduling, theory of computation and algorithms, graphs, security, cellular automata, intro to Django, and I want to say that's pronounced Django. I've heard it being pronounced Django, which sounds weird to me because I know in that movie Jamie Foxx they were calling him Django, and so that's what I'm sticking with. That'll probably cost me a job at some point, just not knowing what that's pronounced, but I don't care. And so you have all of these subjects over here that you also cover. So once you finish the full stack, most boot camps will let you go at that point. They say, hey, we gave you three hard months, you know, congratulations, you did it. They'll high five you. Everybody would take a picture jumping up in the air all happy, you know, and that's it. Send you out into the world. Lambda decides to say, hey, come on back. You still got a little bit more to go, and you're only halfway there. And so you still have the rest of this, as well as the Lambda Labs, which are your projects that put everything that you've learned all into these labs, and then career development. And on top of that, once you actually graduate Lambda, you also have the Lambda Next, which is pretty much like a team of people hired to figure out what do employers want. And they also kind of sit you down and put you on a schedule. Okay, this time you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that. Make sure you're doing this. Make sure you're applying to this many jobs. Make sure that, you know, and you're not done. You still have more to go until you land that first job. So and that's because Lambda understands that you are an investment. They don't get paid until you get paid, and their first cohort graduated about 6 months ago, so they're just now getting paid from those. You know, and eventually their second and third and fourth, you know, it'll kind of it'll be a ripple effect. So hopefully all of those people will be able to get jobs and you know, pay the school back. So but I mean, if you see all the stuff that's being covered over here, we're going over React. First off, we're also starting off with responsive design, so they're not skipping over the CSS and all the other main frameworks and things that make up the web programming. They're not skipping over it. So you also go back to JavaScript. Then you go to user interface, including with React. And then you go to intermediate React. So once you get the basic React, you're like, hey, we're going to keep reacting. Then you go into Redux. And you do a project. So, you know, it covers a lot of stuff that I get excited about. You know, the way I see it is, yeah, I can build a website and make it look nice and all that, and make it responsive and functional and everything. But I don't feel like I've completed that website because I didn't build a back-end server. I don't have a database, you know. And I like to be able to do everything. I may not know everything, but if I know where to find it, how to, you know, I can figure out how to do it on my own. And so that's what I'm hoping to get out of this school, the whole full stack experience. And on top of that, I'm excited about the computer science portion, just because I think that is a valuable skill set to have. It's good knowledge to be able to understand not just what you're doing, but, you know, why it's doing that. So I just think that that's important. So there we go. Yeah, guys, so I just wanted to point that out there. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, or you can even ask Austin directly. He's always on Twitter. Actually, most of the information I find out about what the school is doing comes from his Twitter account. He's kind of like, I don't know, he's out there. But he's a really cool dude, and so far I'm having a blast in the Slack. Everybody's real just chill, you know, real mellowed out. And honestly, like, this is one of those things where you have to be real chill just because you're going to be with these people for 7 months. It turns out we're all nerds together, and we all like to talk about tech and things like that. So it's really awesome. A lot of times we're not really talking about programming per se. We're talking about something else. Like I'm in the full stack web development Slack, and we're sitting here talking about iOS development. We're talking about AR. They have other people they'll put up projects that they've worked on their own that they just want to show off. And, you know, it's really motivating, and it's nice to know that, you know, even though, yeah, tech is our life, like, we also kind of branch out to other things. So, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, again, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to comment. I'll do the best I can to answer them. If not, then I'll try to get the answers for you guys. And that's it. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.